Manufacturing, the thing that makes the world go round. We rely on manufacturing for most things we do in our life. It's what allows us to have the small things, our clothes, our espresso machines, our phones, or whatever you're watching this on. It's all manufactured. Alaska is a rather remote state with an economy based on oil and fish. The fact is though that even with Alaska's challenges, there is some manufacturing done here. I'd like to introduce 3 local manufacturers that are working to change Alaska's market. First, we'll visit Trickster Co. They make many different products such as jewelry, apparel, stamps, and more. Each product features their formline designs. Trickster Co. was started by Alaska native artists Rico and Crystal Worrell in 2014 and is now a full-time online business. The Worrells founded it because they wanted to see indigenous design products and also saw a need for young people to have apparel that could represent their traditions and culture. They wanted to make products that could represent a modern indigenous lifestyle that could be appreciated and worn by a broader group of non-native consumers as well.
Our designers are really Crystal and Rico, and sometimes they'll come up with a design that's specific for a skateboard or it's specific for a basketball. And then sometimes we'll get an idea, it'll come from any one of us in the team, and they'll say, hey, we'll take that same design, let's put it on something else, like even sunglasses, umbrellas, or sticker even. We pride ourselves in trying to manufacture as many products as we can locally. We certainly design them locally. Yeah. That's been the big challenge for us because the cost, obviously extra cost to have things shipped up to us. Yeah. We had to pay extra, and then the other challenge is being able to procure like the supplies that we need to make it consistently. We'll go to a certain manufacturer and we think, oh, we're set. But then we go back to them and they may not be shipping to Alaska, and then we look at the lower 48, they're shipping for free down there. And sometimes they treat us like we're not part of this country. We love earrings. One of the reasons we love earrings is because of logistics. It's a higher margin product as far as profits, but it's small and compact, so it's cheaper to ship. And so we find that we're much more competitive with those kind of products. But if we're shipping skateboards or big prints, the cost is really sometimes prohibitive.
To me, it just makes, if you're coming to Alaska and you want something special from Alaska, it seems natural that you buy a made in Alaska product.
While Trickster Company makes designs and sells them on a variety of products, Alaska Gear Company gears specifically towards the outdoor enthusiast. They make tents, sleds, bunny boots, and more.
So every product, when we go into development, is a little bit different. And we're usually looking for a way to help our existing customer. How do we get their products lighter or perform better? One of the biggest things has always been supply chain for us. If there's bad snowstorms or high seas, it can or big snowstorms in Canada, it can delay material from getting here, so it can cause large lead times. But then also making sure that we can fulfill those products to our customers across the globe. Really, we're in a regionally challenging spot, but I think that's what makes it fun too. We're Alaskans, we're resilient, and we like the challenge. I think feedback actually helps us drive a lot of product development choices. So when our customers provide feedback, we're not like most companies where you send an email and it goes to an inbox and it never reaches anyone. We take that information, we share it with our product designers and developers and our engineers, and we go and we look at the drawing board. We welcome all the feedback from our customers. That's what keeps us going. If there's one thing that people don't know about Alaska Gear Company is that we've been around for a long time. One thing that our CEO and our leadership team has really been focused on is bringing Alaska brands into our ecosystem and keeping those brands here and keeping the jobs here. So we're probably the longest trusted brand in Alaska. So we take a lot of pride in that because we've had a lot of people trust in us, and we love to carry that forward through Alaska Gear Company.
While Alaska Gear Company makes tires, boots, and more, Ermine Skate specializes in one thing and have found their niche, making high-quality Nordic skates. Ermine Skate was founded by Paxton Welber in 2021 and has been making Nordic skates in Alaska, but also making them for Alaska.
Making anything is hard anywhere. Making things in Alaska is even harder. Shipping is the obvious one that comes to mind. Shipping things up to Alaska in bulk is actually not incredibly difficult because you can put stuff on pallets and have it barged up. But the bigger thing is that we don't have a healthy manufacturing sort of infrastructure or scene in Alaska. For example, the coating that we do on our skates, I had a really hard time finding people to work with who could do that coating at a really high level. Where something is made is really complicated. Aluminum, for example, the United States doesn't even mine aluminum. There's sort of the raw goods manufacturing where we don't really have a lot of control or knowledge necessarily about where that stuff is coming from. The next stage, which is like rolling out the sheets of metal or rolls of metal that the blades are cut from, and then the extrusion for aluminum that becomes the skate. So we have a custom-made extrusion designed for the profile of our skate. When we say made in Alaska, this is not a technicality. I mean, we really do make the skates in Alaska. Like the guy who does the coating is like up in the Mat-Su Valley, and the machining is, South Central Alaska. And that's something that I'm really proud of. But it also gives us really good control over the finished product. So if we took a Nordic skate, for example, and we just hired a factory in China to make Nordic skates, which we could do. I mean, you could do that. But is that extrusion gonna be straight? Is the machining gonna be tight? Are the little chamfers around the threaded holes on the deck of the skate, are those gonna be done deep enough? Maybe. Doing stuff locally, we're able to iterate really quickly, and we're able to experiment, and we're able to do quality control in a way that you really couldn't do if you were manufacturing overseas, or even if we were manufacturing in the lower 48.
So manufacturing in Alaska may have its difficulties, but there are multiple companies finding their niche and thriving there. Even with some unique challenges, these companies prove it's possible to successfully manufacture in the Great North. Alaska is not just oil and fish after all. There is surprisingly much more than just those. This is Deacon Laurance signing off.